Hello students, myself Amrita Shrivastava and I am faculty of US Academy Institute, Gorakhpur. Welcome back to your English class. This is class 8 supplementary and today we will discuss about chapter 2, Children at Work. There are many reasons why children have to work. Some help their family make a livelihood. Others who run away from unhappy homes need to support themselves. Children who have to work can't go to school and play like other children of their age. So students, this chapter is about some children who are forced to work. Let's start. Children at Work is a sensible story by Geeta Wolf, which focuses on the living of slum children. Slum children means children who collect rags. This story teaches us to be emphatic with these children and help them whatever we can do for them. This story involves a boy named Velu. He was a small boy of 11 years. His father was a drunkard. His father used to beat him and his sister and used to snatch every money they earned. So, let's start our chapter and see what is going on in the story. When the Kanyakumari Express pulled in at Chennai Central, it took Velu some time to get off. When he finally stood on the platform, his legs felt wobbly. Wobbly means unsteady, as if he was still on a moving train. Oi, out of the way. A porter went by with a loaded trolley. Velu jumped aside. He sat on a bench on the platform, putting his small bundle down. In all his 11 years, he had never seen so many people except once a year at the fair in his village. People walked by, bumping into him with their suitcase. A voice announced something on a loudspeaker. Near him, a group of people sat on their luggage looking at a TV hanging from the roof. The noise was terrible. Velu put his head down on his knee, feeling miserable and exhausted. That means tired. He had run away from his village 2 days ago. For 2 days he had eaten nothing but some peanuts and a piece of jaggery. In his bundle he carried a shirt, a towel and a comb. He had walked for most of the first day to Kanpur and then he got on the train to Chennai. Velu had no money for a ticket, but luckily the ticket collector did not come to the unreserved compartment. He had tried to sleep on the floor near the door. A group of men next to him had played cards and shouted all night. "I got new to down," called out a rough voice. Velu opened his eyes. There was a lot of people standing around, but nobody was looking at him. He turned around. Behind him was a girl around his own age, wearing a long banyan that came down to her knees. Her hair was stiff and brownish, and she had a huge sack on one shoulder. She was picking up dirty plastic cups from the floor and stuffing the sack. Sack was like a bag, which is why is she calling me, thought Velu, and why is a girl wearing a banyan? No need to stare stupidly. What is your name? Velu, muttered Velu, looking away. And this is a story of a 11-year-old boy named Velu. He was a small boy of 11 years. His father was a drunkard. He used to drink. His father used to beat him and his sister and used to snatch every money they earned. How they earned? They were doing work. Velu was fed up with the day-to-day abuses and decided to run away from home. He worked all day in Kanpur. Kanpur is Kannur. It is a district in Tamil Nadu. And later on, he boarded Kanyakumari Express. Kanyakumari Express brought him to Chennai Central Station. And at the Chennai Central Station, there was a huge rush, and it was a huge station. Velu saw people in a rush with their suitcases. A loudspeaker was shouting with announcements. Some people were watching a big TV screen that was hanged on the roof. Some were sitting on the platform. That time, Velu was feeling very weak and his legs were shaking. That is wobbling or shaking. He had come to Chennai in an unreserved compartment sitting near the gate. It was just his good luck that ticket collector was not there, just because it was unreserved compartment and Velu had no money to buy the tickets. So near the gate where he was sitting, a group of people playing cards, and they used to shout it throughout the night. Velu felt miserable in a new place and sat on a bench. And after that, suddenly he heard a voice of a girl. He just looked the girl who was at the same age as Velu was, and he was thinking why the girl was calling him. So she was a rag picker girl with brown and dirty hair, and her name was Jaya. Let's read after that para. So Mr. Velu, said the girl, looking at his bundle, run away from home. Velu did not answer. He did not want to tell some strange girl what he had done. He had run away because he could not stand his father beating him for one more day. His father was snatched away all the money Velu and his sister earned and spent it on drink. Don't think I don't know. This place is full of children like you. So what are you going to do here? Become rich? She sat down next to him. Velu shifted away slightly. He felt hunger pinching him and pressed his stomach with a grimace. Hungry? Asked the girl. You won't get food by sitting here glumly making faces. I can find something if you want. She picked up her sack and started to walk away. Velu stayed on the bench. What should he do? Should he follow this girl? Where was she going to take him? She was disappearing into the crowd, so he had to make up his mind. All right, he decided. Anyway, I have no idea where to go. He jumped up and ran after her. She was not even looking back to see where he was. His meditation was broken when a girl called him up, and he was thinking why she is calling him. The girl was behind his bench. She wore banyan hat, untidy hair, and holding a huge sack on her shoulders. She picked up garbage from the platform and put that in her sack. She asked him if he had run away from his house, and it was very surprising for Velu how she was knowing that. And most of the time he was lost in his own thoughts that his father spent the money he and his sister earned on his drinks. She told him that so many children of his age come to the city to become rich. And the girl felt that maybe Velu was very hungry. So she asked him if he was hungry and assured him to find something for him. Velu was in dilemma about whether to trust and follow the girl or not. But after that, when the girl went ahead and was not much interested in seeing back if Velu is following him or not. So, however, he followed her to the road. Comprehension check. Velu stood on the platform, but he felt as if he was still on a moving train. Why? Because he had travelled a lot with his footsteps and with the train also. That's why his legs were wobbling all the time and it was feeling like he is still in a moving train. What made him feel miserable? These questions we will discuss after the explanation of the chapter. So let's read the second part of the story. Friends, in second part we will know about Velu follows his friend throughout the crowded streets to a big building. Behind the building there is a big garbage bin. Velu wondered why they are there at all. So let's read second part. He caught up with the girl as she was leaving the station. When they got to the road, Velu found that the vehicles kept coming and never stopped for anyone. Smoke and dust flew at him from all sides, making his head spin. They had to wait for a long time before they could find a gap to run through. Velu kept hesitating and the girl finally dragged him to the other side. What do you think you are doing? Grazing cows. If you stand around in the middle of the road like that, you will be chutney. Velu's heart was still beating fast. He looked back at Central Station and the traffic speeding by. How had they managed to come through that? They walked along the side of the road under some signboards. Velu looked up at the pictures: banyans, car tires, pens, a woman hooking a box. The writing was all in English, so he didn't know what it means. The girl turned onto a wide bridge and walked up. Velu stopped and peeped over the railing. Under him, the road ran into the city. In the distance, he could see huge buildings and towers and more roads. See that big building with the wall around it? If you are not careful, you will soon be counting bars there. The girl grinned and pointed a huge building. Velu squinted and read the Tamil sign, Central Jail. Why? I have not done anything wrong. You don't have to do anything. Just don't get caught, that's all. What does she mean? Velu wondered. Meanwhile, the girl was already heading down the bridge with the sack on her shoulder. What was in it? He had seen her putting plastic cups into it at the station. What are you carrying in that bag? Things, bottles, papers. Velu wondered what she was doing with them, but he felt shy to ask any more questions. However, he followed her to the road. He was scared to see many vehicles on the road and could not cross the road. So students, when Velu decided to follow her, he followed her to the road, and there he was scared to see so many vehicles on the road and could not cross the road. The girl came to his rescue and helped him to cross the road. She warned him not to freeze in the between the road because she could be like a chutney. He was amazed to see huge signboards with the varied pictures. He could not understand the words written on them as they were in English. He was only able to understand Tamil. The girl walked up to the bridge from where Velu peeped through the railing. She advised him not to get caught as they were passing beside the central jail. She moved ahead with a sack on her shoulder. Velu was in question mood to know what was she carrying in that, yet could not dare to ask. Velu realized that walking bare feet was intolerable on the road, whereas he could easily roam around in the village. When the girl warned him that you have to be careful not to be caught, then Velu asked if he had not done anything wrong. So she said, it is not necessary to do anything wrong. You have to be just careful that don't be caught here. So after that, Velu dared to ask what the girl was carrying in her sack. So she said so many things she is carrying, like bottles, papers and many others, rags. And Velu was very surprised that what she will do with that things. Let's read our next para. It was still morning, but the sun blasted down on the tar and Velu bare feet burnt. It was not like walking on a mud road. He was soaked with sweat. He tried hard to walk in the shade and keep up with the girl at the same time. She walked really fast. How far away was the food? After almost an hour of walking, they stopped in front of a big building. Sri Rajarajeshwari Prasanna Kalyan Mandapam. Read value slowly. A sign with letters made of flowers said, Groom J.V. Vinayagan, Bride Rani. Velu stared at the big cars parked. One of the cars had a flower garland and roses tapped onto it. The girl looked around, pulled one off quickly and stuck it in her hair. Come on, she said. Are we going to eat here? Asked Velu, looking at a huge hall and a people inside. Said the girl, shaking her thumb under his nose. She led him behind the hall. There was a big garbage bin overflowing with rubbish. Two goats were standing on the pile, fighting for a banana leaf. A cloud of flies buzzed around their legs. There was a rotten smell in the air. The girl picked up squishy banana and held it to Velu. Here is your food. Velu was shocked. Are we going to eat their leftovers? Chee, what do you think? I am a dog. I only take untouched food. Here's some more. Catch. She threw him a vada. Velu looked at it with distaste. You think I like it? I told you I will find you something to eat. Don't think I have money to buy food for you. You would better eat what you get until you have your own money. Velu hesitated, but his stomach squeezed him again. He gulped down the banana and vada. His stomach felt better immediately. He could have eaten at least 10 times more, but the girl could find only one more banana, which she ate herself. Too early. They have only eaten tiffin. If you are still hungry, you will have to wait for them to finish lunch. You can wait if you want. I have to work. I am going. She picked up a couple of bottles from the heap and threw it into her sack. Then she walked off. Velu panicked. He realized that if the girl left him, he had no idea where he was and what to do. It was better to stick to her. She seemed to know her way around. He ran after her again. Hey, he called. He didn't even know the girl's name. Hey, what is your name? He asked hurriedly, hurrying behind her. She stopped and turned around. Oh, so you have been following me around without even knowing my name. Jaya, I'm not following you. What then? Who got you food? Can I come with you? Where are you going? Come if you want. This bag is full. I have to go home to get another one. As we know, the boy was following to the girl. The girl walked up to a bridge from where Velu peeped through the railing. She advised him not to get caught as they were passing behind the central jail. She moved ahead with her sack on her shoulder. Velu was very eager to know what was she carrying in that, and when she asked, she told that she was carrying a sack full of trash. Velu realized that walking barefoot was intolerable on the road, whereas he could only easily roam around in the village. He tried to walk instead and altogether kept pace with the girl. So students, it took almost an hour to reach a building where the marriage ceremony was going on. She led him behind it to a garbage bin which was stinky and full of trash. She threw a vada towards him and she found it 2 bananas, one she eaten herself and one she has given to Velu. Firstly, he was very hesitating that he don't want to eat the leftover food, and he said that he is not a dog. He is used to eat good and fresh food. She told him that she did not have money to buy food for him. Velu surrendered before the high intensity of the hunger. She asked if he was coming along or wanting to wait. He was aware of the fact that he could not manage alone, so he just ran after her. Finally, he just asked for her name and then they both moved further towards her home. The girl wanted to take another sack. The previous sack was full of trash, so she was leading to her home. He observed that the hutments were made of metal, seats, tires, bricks, wood and plastic. So at that time he was once again decided to follow the girl. Let's read our third part of the story. The third part, we will know that there is a row of huts near some dirty puddles. Outside one of the huts, Jaya dumps her sack. Grateful to his friend, Velu thinks of the days ahead. Jaya and Velu walked along the roads for half an hour until they came to a bridge across a dirty trickle of water. We are in Triplicane now. See, that's a Buckingham Canal, said Jaya. Stared, this was a canal. Near some puddles of water was a row of the strangest huts he had ever seen. They were built out of all sorts of things: metal seats, tires, bricks, wood and plastic. They stood crookedly and looked as if they would fall any moment. Is this where you live? These houses are strange, said Velu. In our village, the houses are made of mud and palm leaves. Jaya went around to one of the huts and dumped her sack outside. Then she picked up an empty one. Let's go. She turned to Value and gave him a shove. At least help me now. Here, wear these and come with me. She threw him a pair of old shoes without laces and pushed a sack and a stick into his hands. Value was confused. What work did she want him to do with these things? The only work he had ever done was on the landowner's farm, weeding and taking cows out to graze. Are there any farms in the city? He asked Jaya and thumped her stick on the ground. Farms. There are no farmers here. We are rag pickers. Rag pickers? See my sack full of things I collected. Collected from where? Asked Value. From rubbish bins. Where else? You collect rubbish? Value had never heard of such a thing. Blockhead. It is not any rubbish, only paper, plastic, glass, such things. We sell it to Jam Bajar Jaggu. Value was puzzled. He had heard of people throwing away rubbish, but why would anyone want to buy rubbish? Who is Jam Bajar Jaggu? Why is he buying all things? You think he buys it for show? He sells it to a factory. Come on, I don't have time to waste like you. Well, he did not move. He had not run away and come to this new place to dig through garbage bins. Jaya poked at him with her stick. Look here, she shouted. If someone gets there before us, we don't get anything. Don't just stand here posing big hero. I am trying to help you. Who filled your stomach today? Value scratched his head and sighed. I will do it for now, he thought, until I find a better job. So students, when both of them, Jaya and Value, reached at their place, Value observed that the hutments were made of metal, seats, tires, bricks, wood and plastic. He told her that houses in his village were built with mud and palm leaves. She put her full sack and picked up another sack. She gave him shoes to wear. That was a pair of shoes without laces. He was puzzled with the utility of garbage for the girl. He knew the job of working in the land's owner's farm and taking cows to graze. He asked if there were any farms. Jaya informed him that there were no farms, there were no farmers. She called herself a rag picker. She further added that they were selling their rubbish for money. She rebuked him for taking too long to decide. That time Value was optimistic enough, so he agreed to do the job, but only until he find a better job. He knew that he could switch over to a new and better job in the future. He just said to himself that he had not come to Chennai to dig through garbage. However, he felt he must do it until he finds a better job. So he followed her with a sign. Students, that was all about your second chapter, Children at Work. What kind of moral do you get from this story? The moral is that no children should work. Children who work have more money and enjoy greater freedom. Children of poor parents should be allowed to miss school and work instead. Children who have to work are smarter than school-going kids. Children must keep their parks and school clean and help their parents with homework. And what kind of moral that we get is that what some throw away as waste may be valuable to others. Things we throw is valuable to other children. So students, so many questions are given here in this chapter. in all three parts. So you will get question answer as your assignment. So keep writing in your fair copy, and after that keep learning also. We will discuss our next chapter in our next video. Till then, take care.